No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury.
See, so you can't say that he's not a Hall of Fame if he's beat world champions, you know.
And all this. When it comes to being great, it's not about just becoming undisputed. It's how you become undisputed.
Terence Crawford laughed at Errol Spence's call for a rematch and also questioned if Spence really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Crawford said Spence only fought in one weight class while he himself became undisputed in more than one. He can't be in the Hall of Fame with just 147, Crawford said, brushing off Spence's legacy.
I think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame.
Right now? No, how? He fought in one division. He had a WBC, WBA.
He wasn't undisputed. He
no,
wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. I'm still a fan. I hope he do well. But like, once it got to the point where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's just like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they trying to blemish my accomplishment just to boost him up. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that, because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
Errol Spence has called out Terence Crawford for a rematch, making it clear he wants another chance. Spence said the rematch is still possible, and he's ready to go again even after his loss. He believes he can make some changes and prove himself against Crawford in a second fight.
Is there ever a possibility where you would rematch Errol Spence? Or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there. He's fighting for Dor for his title. I'm fighting for a title. And there's the possibility. He win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing. And there's your possibility right there.
Terence Crawford shut down Errol Spence's rematch hopes with a blunt response on Twitter. Replying to Spence's call-out, Crawford tweeted, "Errol Spence Jr., sorry buddy, you got to wait in line, sir." Crawford made it clear he's focused on other opponents first, showing that Spence will need to be patient for another shot.
Question. I don't want your reaction. Is a Errol Spence rematch on the table still, or?
Nah.
All right, we're gonna wrap that. I'm trying to tell you.
Terence Crawford's recent comments about Errol Spence Jr. have caused a stir in the boxing world. Fans and analysts are now debating if it's right for a top fighter like Crawford to speak badly about another champion. Some people think trash talk is just part of boxing, while others believe it goes against the sport's values. Stefan Hops has come forward to defend Spence, saying it's not fair to ignore what Spence has done. Spence has fought some of the best in the division, including a tough fight against Sean Porter. His record shows he is not only a unified champion, but also a very skilled fighter who has faced top opponents. Ignoring his success is both wrong and disrespectful.
I don't agree, because he beat some notable names up there. You know, he beat Sean Porter, he beat Lamont Peterson,
Danny Garcia.
So you can't say that he's not a Hall of Fame if he's beat world champions, you know, and beat them like in a different way. So I don't agree with that answer right there that he said. I think he a Hall of Fame. I feel like anybody who make it to that big stage and beat them big name champions is a Hall of Fame. He did something that nobody else done. So, you know.
Like technically, he's a three-time champ because he won 3 belts.
Yeah. He was unified. Wasn't he unified?
Yeah, he was unified. It was just one. He was one away.
You can't say a person is not a Hall of Famer if he's unified. Once you unified, you made them. I feel like once you become a world champion, you made them history books.
Yeah, once you become a world champion, you make the history books, of course. But I think
unified is Hall of Fame.
You think so?
Yeah.
Guaranteed?
Yeah, because you got all the belts.
Since defeating Spence, Crawford has been praised a lot for his skills and dominance in the ring, but his recent comments have upset many fans. They feel that a fighter like him should show more respect to his opponents, especially someone like Spence who has built a strong legacy. Ray Jackson shared his frustration by posting, Terence Crawford said this back in January about us boxing fans. Now Crawford is the one being very disrespectful to Errol Spence. You can't make up this. This tweet shows how disappointed many fans are with Crawford's behavior. Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult also shared his thoughts on the issue. He said that even though Crawford earned respect for his big win over Spence, his recent words have made some people see him in a different light. Showbiz pointed out that fans supported Crawford because of how well he performed in the ring. But now many are changing their view because of his disrespectful comments.
He can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't.
Not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame.
Right now? No, how?
Then, Bud, what you do? Because, Bud, Errol is your one, and you just shitted on him. I remember you dissing me on X because you want and deserve respect. And all of us are here to give it to you. But when you go shitting on another fantastic fighter who happens to be the marquee opponent on your resume, then brother, people going to start flipping tables and they're going to start looking at you. Bottom line, Errol Spence is great and you whipped his ass. Sean Porter is great and you whipped that ass. And what you're daring to do to take on Canelo Alvarez is beyond great. Now it's crazy. Good shit.
One of the biggest debates after Crawford's comments is about how strong Spence's opponents were compared to the ones Crawford faced. Some people believe Spence had a harder path, fighting top-level fighters throughout his career. According to some analysts, becoming undisputed is not just about winning belts, but also about proving yourself against the best fighters.
When I said that Terence Crawford, his accomplishments aren't great enough, you had people jumping in my comments talking about two-time undisputed and all this shit. When it comes to being great, it's not about just becoming undisputed. It's how you become undisputed, how you become champion, who you face. Because hell, Devin Haney fought Kambosos to become undisputed in one swoop. What? That makes him as great as Ali? Hell no. So if you say that Errol Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, bud, we start looking at jobs. Let's talk about Spence. He got the belts and unified, but who did he take the belts from and what did he try to do with you? Spence's road that you're shitting on is more violent than yours.
Terence Crawford recently talked about the rematch clause in his contract with Spence. He said a second fight is possible, but he hasn't decided what to do yet. Many people are excited to see if Spence will get a chance to come back, especially since Crawford was so dominant in their first fight. A rematch could be Spence's chance to show he can make changes and come back stronger.
I haven't heard anything yet, and like I said before, it's in the contract, so it's not if I'm open to it or not. It's, you know, what's in the contract, and Errol gave me an opportunity and a shot at becoming the first male boxer undisputed, you know, in any division in the 4-belt era, and I honor, you know, that. And if he was to come to me or activate his rematch, then I honor it.
Boxing legend Shane Mosley shared his thoughts on the rematch, saying he believes Crawford would win again no matter how much Spence improves. He said Spence should think about not taking the rematch and instead focus on rebuilding his career.
Yeah, you know, he's ready. Right when I seen that, I said Crawford wins. His movement, everything was, he wins. It doesn't matter if Spence was not strong or strong. He had more of the stuff to win that fight. And Crawford is a game player. He's gonna come, he coming to win. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I still say Crawford anyway, but I feel bad that we didn't see the true Spence fight Crawford. If that makes any sense. I just think that Crawford has more rhythm, more movement, more stuff. And not just having more movement, more stuff, he has the power and everything just to be one of those great fighters. He has everything. And if you have Spence is not one-dimensional, but in that fight, he was really one-dimensional, really stiff. And if they looked like they had really a lot of problems trying to get down to his weight, didn't have enough time to work on stuff they need to work on to attack Crawford or to do anything to Crawford. And then when they got in the ring, he was so weak. I mean, Crawford dropping him with right jabs. We're like, dang, Boat just dropping him.
Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, agreed with Mosley and said a rematch would end the same way. Bomac said Crawford's performance in the first fight was no fluke and showed how strong he really is.
Has he exercised his immediate rematch clause?
I don't know if it's gonna be at 54 or 47, but I'm sure I'm sure he's probably gonna push the weight up, but there's not gonna be no change in the decision. The performance still is gonna be the same. Might be even a little bit better. So he might want to watch out before he activates the rematch clause.
Despite the loss, Spence has made it clear that he wants another shot at Crawford. He said that if Crawford is willing to fight Canelo Alvarez, then he should also be willing to give him a rematch. Spence stays confident that with the right adjustments, he can perform better.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, So, what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, I'll be going for Bud, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can put it off, he can put it off. Yeah. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. has given Crawford two options: either go for the rematch right away or take another fight before facing Spence again. Jones believes that taking another fight first could be a good choice, as it would allow Crawford to keep his momentum and leave his options open.
Do you do the rematch and then go for other fights, or do you think this is kind of like the cherry on top, and after this he should more or less retire on top?
Bud has two options. A, he can continue going up in weight, see how far he can go. I think he said already 54 is his max, so he could campaign that going to 54, maybe doing a rematch, or like I said, let Errol get himself back together first, when it makes more sense, then do a rematch. You understand me? So for me, to let Errol get himself together first, then do a rematch is much better. To fight him right now, it's not good because, like I said, just the weight gain was not the only problem.
Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith has also shared his thoughts on the rematch, advising Crawford to wait at least a year before facing Spence again. Smith argued that an immediate rematch might not be in Crawford's best interest and believes that waiting some time would make for a more exciting and balanced fight.
Matter of fact, let me make a plea over the international digital airwaves of YouTube. Let me make a plea right now to Terence Crawford. I understand you just beat him. You beat him thoroughly. You're the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF titles, but you hugged him after the fight for a reason. I am making a plea to Terence Crawford. Even if you elect to give Errol Spence Jr. a rematch, please do not do this for at least a year. Please don't do that. Y'all are cool with one another. I'm begging you, my brother. I'm begging you. Because I know you got love, and I'm begging Errol Spence Jr., as good as you are, you were just outclassed. I say that respectfully because I got mad respect for Errol Spence Jr. Please, please do not fight Errol Spence Jr.
Crawford's dominant victory over Spence earned him huge respect in the boxing world. Spence was an undisputed champion, and beating him in such a clear way helped solidify Crawford's legacy. However, his recent comments have made some people question his character. While his skills in the ring are clear, many fans and analysts now see him differently because of his lack of sportsmanship.
That's dope, man.
And I really appreciate you just being a regular dude who's very, 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 very skilled at something. I'm glad you're getting your flowers, and I hope the biggest of bags come your way in these next few years with how things play out for you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Because you earned,
bro.
You earned it, bro.
And you gave us, listen, entertainment. You know what I mean? From beginning to end, it was a real display. So we appreciate you taking time, bro.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me, man. I appreciate it.
Before we go, how soon will we get the rematch? Do you know that calendar? You know how that calendar is going to play out?
Probably, if it happened, it'd probably be the end of this year.
That's soon.
Yeah.
Like a December situation, probably something like that.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right.
Terence Bud Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Nice Howard Cosell there, bro.
Despite the controversy, excitement for a rematch is still high. Many fans believe that if Spence moves up in weight and adds muscle, he could perform better in a second fight. A potential rematch at 160K could change the dynamics of the fight, giving Spence a chance to be stronger and more competitive.
That's the fight I want to see. I want to see Bud be great, but what better buffer to see if Bud's ready at 68 than the EJ rematch of 54 and 60? And how exciting would it be to watch Errol Spence he walks at 190. I'm 185 pounds right now. I'm 5'11". To think of me cutting, and I train, to think of me cutting 50 pounds ever is fucking crazy. To think that Errol Spence Jr. walks at 190 and fights at 47 is crazy. To now think that a rematch could happen at 60, god damn, what are we talking about? Then you get to see EJ loading up on that double jab of his. You get to see muscled up a little bit. He'll be a bit more durable. Then we get to see Bud's magistry, Bud's footwork. There's so many storylines. So I'll end it with this. I've ranted a bit too far. For all you those out there saying nobody wants to see this too, it's a whitewash, it won't be competitive, you guys don't know boxing.
Promoter Bob Arum has suggested that Spence might have had physical issues that contributed to his loss against Crawford. Arum praised Crawford's dominance, saying his performance wasn't surprising. He also predicted that even if a rematch happened at a higher weight class, the outcome would likely stay the same. Arum believes Crawford's skill level is just too high for Spence to overcome,
which would lead Crawford to victory. And the clue that I saw was that of all the fights, I think at 38 fights, of all those fights, he only fought 2 southpaws. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that he has trouble with southpaw, because to have only 2 out of 38 fights, it means that his people or himself have looked to avoid southpaws. Now, Terence's big strength is that he fights equally well from either side. So instead of opening up as a right-hander, which he usually does, and then switching to southpaw, he only fought Spence as a southpaw, and Spence couldn't handle it, particularly when Crawford, who's ambidextrous, and now his right hand is his jab, is throwing it with force and hurting Spence. So once I saw Terence come out as a southpaw, in my mind, I thought, hey, the fight's over.
Were you surprised, though, by how dominant he was?
No, because Spence can't fight a lefty, and nobody even mentioned that. He can't fight a southpaw. If Crawford had fought him 5 or 6 rounds as an orthodox fighter, it would have been a different fight.
You know, given just the performance that he had and now the attention that he's getting and the recognition, how do you feel? What emotions come to mind seeing that, hey, he's finally getting his just due when so many years a lot of people try to dismiss him?
Well, I don't know if anybody dismissed him because of his ability. They dismissed him because of his drawing power or what have you. Terence was I consider Terence a great fighter before the Spence fight, and I consider him a great fighter after the fight. You know, and his dominance didn't surprise me. He is the full boat. Now, what will eventually catch up with him catches up with all of them, and that's father time. He is 35, going on 36. So at a particular point in time, not now, but down the road.
Former champion Sean Porter, who has fought Spence before, believes that Spence has the ability to win a rematch. Porter has seen what Spence is capable of and feels that with the right adjustments, he can come back stronger. While many people are counting Spence out, Porter stays confident that he still has what it takes to defeat Crawford.
Right around round 7, and I basically was saying, I know his camp and I know him. A lot of pride, a lot of heart, but you have to understand that you're not going to win this fight. If there was an adjustment you were able to find, you would have found it sooner. You're battered up, and let's leave this night where it is and move forward and become stronger from this night. And I just thought that if it had continued, that it might take away some of the things he may be able to do in and out of the ring, because as the saying goes, you never leave the ring the same way you went in, and it truly is the case, unless of course you are Terence Bud Crawford, who had amazing defense and an amazing offensive showing on fight night, and you don't get hit, you know.
Yeah, now you know this firsthand because you fought both of these guys before. Your dad was your coach, so you had a strong relationship there. Now, if you were coaching Spence, would you have thrown in the towel for him? When would you have done that?
I do believe that I heard he asked Errol one time if he wanted to continue, and so I do know that at a small capacity, at the least, they contemplated throwing in the towel. And I think that Derrick James is smart enough to know, hey, something has to happen. I just think that they didn't want to go, for the sake of words, go out like that, and no one does. But realism has to play a major role, especially in the sport of boxing, because realism means if I haven't won more than 6 rounds at this point, I can't even get a draw. And then he had been knocked down already. You have to look at the realism, man. You're not going to win this fight unless you get a knockout. You haven't landed one clean shot or numerous clean shots the entire night. Is that punch going to land? And when you look at realism, it says, let go of the pride, stop this fight, live the fight another day.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.